I'm Kathy Jamison, the Proposition Lady, and I'm here to help you understand the state propositions on your California election ballot. I wasn't expecting to see you until 2026, but Governor Newsom and the California State Legislature called a special election just for Prop 50. Let's have a look at what we're voting on this November. Prop 50, the use of legislative congressional redistricting map amendment, seeks to temporarily redraw California's congressional districts with a map drawn by the state legislature. This map would supersede the current map drawn by the California Citizens Redistricting Commission until the next federal census in 2030. Prop 50 also adds the following language to the state constitution. It is the policy of the state of California to support the use of fair, independent, and nonpartisan redistricting commissions nationwide. The people of the state of California call on the Congress of the United States to pass federal legislation and propose an amendment of the United States Constitution to require the use of fair, independent, and nonpartisan redistricting commissions nationwide. In fact, Prop 50 uses the number 50 to call for fair elections across all 50 states. So why is the legislature asking us to change California's current independently drawn congressional districts? Let's start with a brief refresher on congressional districting. The legislative branch of the U.S. government consists of the U.S. Senate and the U.S. House of Representatives, collectively known as Congress. A bill cannot be passed into law unless it is approved by both chambers of Congress. Seats in the Senate are distributed evenly. Every state gets 2 senators elected to serve everyone in the state for 6-year terms. Seats in the House of Representatives are appointed by population. This gives more power to populous states in the House. Members of the House serve 2-year terms. This means that every 2 years, every seat in the House of Representatives goes up for election. Since state populations change over time, district maps in each state are redrawn every 10 years based on data from the U.S. Census. The decennial tallying of all Americans is mandated in the United States Constitution. The first census was conducted in 1790 and overseen by Thomas Jefferson himself. Once everyone has been counted, each state begins the process of redrawing districts for representation in the House. In 29 of the 50 U.S. states, districts are drawn by the state legislature. Now you might think that if a legislature draws the district lines, the party in power might draw those lines to favor their own side. And you would be right. It's a form of political manipulation used by both parties to gain an unfair advantage in elections. Let's say a state is 60% Democrat and 40% Republican, and the state is allotted 10 districts. A fairly drawn district map would give the Democrats 6 seats and the Republicans 4 seats. But it is entirely possible to create a map that gives the Republicans only 2 or even 0 seats. This trickery is almost as old as the Republic itself. The term gerrymandering was coined in 1812 by a cartoonist who compared the shape of one district in Massachusetts to a salamander and named it after then-Governor Elbridge Gerry. There is no federal law preventing the partisan drawing of congressional district maps. Because gerrymandering is such a common practice, 21 of the 50 U.S. states have formed independent redistricting commissions to draw the maps. California has such a commission, thanks to Prop 11 in 2008 and Prop 20 in 2010. Our 14-member commission consists of 5 Republicans, 5 Democrats, and 4 unaffiliated members. They drew the district maps in 2011 and again in 2021, and they will draw them again in 2031, whether or not Prop 50 passes. So why make a temporary change now? Last November, the Republican Party won control of the presidency, the Senate, and the House. This is quite common. However, it's just as common for the president's party to lose control of at least one legislative house after their first 2 years, effectively ending their ability to pass legislation. Currently, Republicans hold a 219 to 212 majority in the House. This is a very slim majority. Democrats would need to flip just a handful of districts in 2026 to take back control. To give the Republicans better odds, President Trump urged Texas to draw new mid-decade maps that should give the Republicans an additional 5 seats in the House, thus making it harder for Democrats to win it back. Governor Newsom's response was Prop 50, which, if passed, will net an additional 5 seats for Democrats. However, unlike in Texas, the California legislature can't just enact new maps. Only the voters have the power to override the Independent Redistricting Commission. So here we are. Here are some reasons to vote for or against Prop 50. You may want to vote no if you feel that 2 wrongs don't make a right. Whether or not you agree with Texas's actions, it's not okay to dilute the power of Republican voters in California. On the other hand, even if you don't like the idea of gerrymandering, you may see the risk posed to the country by this unprecedented mid-decade redistricting. Or you may think about voting no because the new California districts would be in effect for 3 election cycles, 2026, 2028, and 2030. Maybe you think the change should only be effective for 2026, and yet the change is still temporary. Once the 2030 census is conducted, the Independent Redistricting Commission will be back in business and things should return to normal. I don't usually agree with the idea of voting simply based on party affiliation. I believe it's better to come to your own conclusions, then see if your party agrees with you. But in the case of Prop 50, party affiliation is a material consideration. We are in uncharted territory here, folks. Sadly, partisan gerrymandering has always been legal, but we've never had a president who called for states to redraw the maps mid-cycle to manipulate the results of the next election. Is it wrong for him to do that? Is it wrong for California to manipulate our own maps to counter those actions? That's for you to decide. As of August 25th, $9.5 million have been raised in support of Prop 50, and $10 million has been raised to fight it. These donations largely fall across party lines. Please note that the final number is likely to be much higher, so be prepared for lots of election ads in the next few weeks. There's a lot riding on how Californians vote this November. If we enact Prop 50, we'll be diluting the voting power of the already underrepresented Republicans in the state. But if we don't pass it, the Republican Party could stack the odds in their favor and retain power for the foreseeable future. I'm Kathy Jameson, the Proposition Lady, and I appreciate you being here with me today. See you soon, California voters. Bye now!